Josh Hasten here, Israel Uncensored, Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. Hope you are doing well. It is October the 15th, 2017. Pre-recording for tomorrow, for Monday, the 16th of October. I hope everyone out there had a wonderful Sukkot holiday. I know I did. It is such a special time here in Israel, Sukkot. I don't think there's anything like it in the world. There are thousands of visitors from abroad coming to Israel and spending time in Jerusalem and throughout the country, and trips north, south, east, west. The country overall is just booming, both with the locals and with the visitors. Very special time. We had great weather over the holiday. There was one day of rain, just for a little bit here and there. Not enough to ruin. I mean, in Israel, we love rain. We appreciate it. We can take it whenever we can get it. But a lot of people get upset when it rains on Sukkot. It ruins the sukkah, the decorations. People can't sleep in it. So we had one, just, I would say, I'll call it day of rain showers in some areas of the country. Other than that, just a truly beautiful Chag, beautiful holiday here in Israel. Get in touch with me during the week, Josh at thelandofisrael.com, on Facebook, Joshua Hasten on Twitter at Josh Hasten. Now, I have taken a change in paths in terms of my career professionally. Today is my first day, Sunday here, October 15th, working for the Gush Etzion Foundation. Those of you who know me know I live here in Gush Etzion, and the foundation, they do amazing, amazing work, and I'm now a part of that. They provide so many different opportunities for the resident of the Gush. I'm talking about financial, I'm talking about funding, I'm talking about support, whether it's people in need, whether it's for the security situation in the Gush, whether it's to build new playgrounds, infrastructure, education, whatever it is, the foundation usually plays a role behind the scenes on many of these in many of these arenas. So I just started today. Today's my first day. So what better opportunity than to interview the director of the Gush Etzion Foundation, Shani Simkowitz. I am here in my own office now, right now with Shani, to let people know what I'm going to be doing, and also let people know what the foundation is all about, what makes the foundation tick, what makes Shani tick, what is some of the important work that they're doing here for the residents of Gush Etzion and of Israel. So, Shani, welcome to Israel Uncensored here.
Hi, everybody.
Land of Israel Network, landofisrael.com. Shani, you've been on the job here for what? How many years have you been running the foundation?
21 years.
21 years running the foundation. And if you can give the listeners just a little bit of a background, a little bit of a taste, I started to describe it, of what this foundation, the Gush Etzion Foundation, is all about.
So the Gush Etzion Foundation, was started 21 years ago to give a solution where government funding, or there is no funding for any projects in the categories of health, security, preserving the history and the heritage of Gush Etzion, aliyah, culture, special needs, youth at risk, education, and we also touch on a few religious needs when it comes to not building synagogues, but helping the communities develop their religious buildings or mikvahs or synagogues. And basically, we came in where when the regional council, there's a mayor, receives government funding, it's usually not enough. And so we come in to supplement or to create funds in order to make these projects successful in our communities.
So just to give people background, Gush Etzion is a historic neighborhood, series of 20-plus communities just south of Jerusalem. It's an area which was settled and then resettled again in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. And time after time, the Arabs came and destroyed Jewish life and murdered a lot of the residents who lived here. Thank God for the 1967-60 war. The Jews returned to Gush Etzion. The children of those who were killed here and who had to flee here came back and reestablished this area. Shani, how many communities are there in Gush Etzion today, and what is the population like, and who are the people who live here in Gush Etzion?
The Gush Etzion is an area south of Jerusalem, between Jerusalem and Hebron. It's made up of a region called Gush Etzion, the Etzion block. It's made up of a local community council called Efrat, a local community council of the ultra-Orthodox city Beitar Elite, and the regional council of Gush Etzion, which I represent, which contains 22 communities and one kibbutz. There were 3 kibbutzim, but 2 are privatized. So the range of these communities go from modern Orthodox, young Israel, kind of Hapol Mizrahi communities, ultra-Orthodox, Baal Tshuva, and there are about 6 communities that are mixed, secular and Orthodox.
And how many residents approximately here?
In Gush Etzion today, we're about 27,000 residents in the regional council. In Efrat, they're about the same. And then Beitar tips it off with about 40,000. So I would say in this area today, there are about 100,000 residents.
100,000 residents here living just south of Jerusalem, about, a 20-minute drive from downtown Jerusalem. Now, in terms of the Gush Etzion Foundation, you mentioned a whole series of different areas in which the foundation plays a major role in. What are some of the current projects, some of the things you're working on today in order to advance life here in the Gush?
So first of all, we have a lot of partnerships with other Jewish communities around the world. We have an incredible partnership with a very wonderful Jewish organization called the Jewish National Fund USA. We have 2 major projects with them today. One is the renovation, which has been completed, of the visitor center in Kibbutz Kfar Etzion, which is a memorial to the brave defenders who fought here on the last day of May 13th, 1948, one day before Ben Gurion declared the State of Israel. It's a very moving presentation. I recommend that everyone who can come to visit the site. We're near completion of a promenade in memory of the 3 boys who were murdered 3 years ago in the Ezra Schwartz lookout. Ezra was a GAP student who came to Israel for the year, and he was on his way to beautify a park in memory of the boys, and he was shot in an accident, in a murder attack, in an attack that day. I happened to have been 2 cars in front of that and saw it from the rear window. And we're building now in Kibbutz Rosh Surim a building for lone soldiers. The kibbutz has 6 lone soldiers. We're renovating an old building, so we'll be able to help 12 soldiers. We completed now a beautiful building for youth at high risk, kids who can't fit into the regular school framework. And we made a vocation center where they're learning carpentry, animation, and computer science. There's a social worker who works with them, and professional guidance and teachers who are teaching them outside the regular classroom. And then we have our regular general medical and charitable causes and our very big security needs. With all the wonderful things that are happening in Gush Etzion, unfortunately, Gush Etzion the past 3 years has been the site of a lot of current violence, and we needed to upgrade our security needs. The government and the IDF, the Ministry of Defense, they supply a certain budget to the Regional Council for our security needs, but it's never enough. And thanks to wonderful, wonderful, generous people all around the world, we were able to raise the standard of our needs from intercoms in the kindergartens and bulletproof vests and medical equipment and an ambulance and fire wagons for fire equipment, plus fire extinguishers and many other needs that we needed around fire equipment. If you know, Gush Etzion is located just like the Carmel Mountains, high in the forest. And unfortunately, we are reading about what's going on out in California these days, and we're in the middle of a forest and brush, and so things spread, and we have to have immediate, rapid response for the fire needs. And we have libraries and playgrounds, and the list goes on like any other place in the world.
So first of all, I want to talk about, the partnership with JNF. You know, there's a lot of people think JNF is just about planting trees and that's all, but you've obviously disproven that myth in terms of the partnership and what you just described.
And not only that, but many people do not know that JNF helps Jews all over in Israel. And there are Jews who do not support Gush Etzion, but JNF has been a wonderful friend. And those people who weren't interested in having their funds go, what we call to Judea and Samaria, don't have it. But as we have learned from JNF, they support the Jews all over Israel, and they do wonderful, wonderful things, from water preservation, heritage sites, handicap accessibility, building homes in the Negev and the Galil. They have partnership with Nefesh B'Nefesh that brings so many new immigrants to Israel. And so it's really an incredible organization. We're very lucky to have this partnership.
What do you do in terms of your capacity in getting people to visit Gush Etzion? You know, you described, unfortunately, and I've also lived through it over the last 3 years, but then again, you know, unfortunately, some of our neighbors have been trying to murder us for over 100 years. It's nothing new. People think it's a new phenomenon, or it started because of Judea and Samaria in 1967, and that is just false. You can go back in history, 1929. In the case of Gush Etzion, it fell 3 times. As a result of Arab aggression and terrorism. What do you do in your capacity to encourage people to come out here and visit, perhaps who are hesitant, not only Israelis, but tourists? Some people just won't go through that tunnel road and come out to the Gush because of a certain perception. That being said, you know, you can go outside here where we're sitting today and see children playing in the playgrounds, going to school, having a normal life. How are you able to describe the reality, but then describe what is, you know, what is truly the reality, and that is, for the most part, people are living normal lives. What's your strategy in terms of getting people to visit the Gush? Coming here from other places.
So that is a difficult question, but the reality is, and I think I call it a modern day miracle, that so many people have moved to Gush Etzion, also from English-speaking countries. Many have families. If we just take the recent holiday of Sukkot, we have a tourism authority, and we had many cultural events, and there were thousands of people here, and thousands of people. We had a kite festival, and we had a music concert, and the museum, and all the other attractions that we had going on over Sukkot. There were thousands of people here, and now there's a new road connecting Jerusalem to Gush Etzion, and in 7 minutes you're in Jerusalem. And I think we see also many of the chains of the famous big food chain stores or clothing stores, or the chains of the stores that are in any of the shopping malls in Jerusalem have moved their businesses out to Gush Etzion, from restaurants to department stores to the big supermarket chain Rami Levi and Supersal, bakeries. I mean, all that turned into an attraction and created employment for people. So today, when you're 7 minutes from Jerusalem, I think that a lot of that has changed. And also because many people living abroad have many family members living in this area, I think it took a natural course of changing that perception. And people are seeing that you can come out here and it's 7 minutes to Jerusalem. And there's some neighborhoods in Jerusalem that are far more deeper into an enemy neighborhood, or more of a distant, like Neve Yaakov or even the French Hill. And I think people see today that the closeness of being the southern gateway to Jerusalem and having all this commerce and having all this tourism created a situation that it's just a natural way of going and coming back from Gush to Jerusalem.
And we even have our own sushi bar, which is very important, right? I don't know if you're a fan of the sushi.
I'm a very big fan of sushi. In fact, I just put the menu over there on the other desk today if we get hungry here.
That is critical.
Whoever thought? You know, unfortunately, a lot of the survivors who lived here in 1948 and were either evacuated or were taken as prisoners of war in 1948 at the final battle, not many of them are alive. But there was one woman who passed away 2 years ago, and when they opened up the big supermarket chain, I had said to her, do you believe you're sitting in Gush Etzion with the cell phone, with food deliveries, with a sushi bar? Like, if those defenders would have only known what was going on here 70 years later. And I always say that we had the zchut, the merit, to fulfill their dream, because one day before Gush Etzion fell, those 120 defenders fell in a bloody battle, and they did not know that the next day Ben Gurion would declare the state of Israel, and we would have our own nation. So we who are living here today are fulfilling the dream of V'shavu banim ligvulam, and your children shall return to their borders.
They made the ultimate sacrifice, and we are reaping the benefits of that sacrifice today. If they were only here to see that, thank God their children and their grandchildren, now even great-grandchildren, I know for a fact, are living in the hills here in the Judean mountains. Just one last question before we let you go back to work. The foundation itself, if people want to get involved either in a particular project or just in general, overall helping the projects here that the foundation undertakes, whether it's security, whether it's parks and gardens and playgrounds and helping the needy residents in the area, what is the best way to get involved in the amazing work the foundation does?
So first of all, you can go to our website, www.gush, G-U-S-H, minus sign in the middle, etzion.org.il. And you can also email us. All the information is on the website. And you can also come and visit. It's important to have presence here and visit and to spend money here and to go to our tourist sites and come and see the beautiful Gush Etzion.
Well, thank you, Shani Simkowitz, for your time today, Director of the Gush Etzion Foundation. And as I said, full disclosure, I am now, as of today, an employee of the Gush Etzion Foundation. And let me just tell you, commuting 7 minutes to work, I know it's only day number 1. That within itself is unbelievable. No, but in all seriousness, it's a privilege and an honor to be going down this path here and being able to, hopefully, please God, do what I can to help the residents, my neighbors and friends of the area here, Gush Etzion, which is a special place in my heart as a resident and historically here in the land of Israel. And we are back. Josh Hasten here. Israel Uncensored, Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. Thanks again to Shani Simkowitz, head of the Gush Etzion Foundation, for all of the important things that they do for the people in Gush Etzion, for the people here, and for the people throughout Israel. Now, I just want to get to some news before we call it a day. Top story over the weekend, the speech of President Donald Trump in regard to the Iranian nuclear deal, the president deciding to decertify that deal. Front page of the Jerusalem Post here on Sunday, October the 15th. Prime Minister Netanyahu on Friday lauds U.S. President Donald Trump's courageous decision to decertify the Iran nuclear agreement and impose sanctions on its Revolutionary Guard. See, people, this is why pencils have erasers, okay? To get rid of deals like this, which endanger not only Israel and the United States, but the world. And regardless of the reviews people are giving President Donald Trump, he is spot on with when it comes to the Iranian nuclear deal. His speech was unprecedented. His speech was powerful. And now it's time for the U.S. and Congress to follow up his words with action. And that includes throwing out the Iranian nuclear deal. And the Prime Minister of Israel piggybacking off of Trump's speech, saying that every responsible government and all those who care about global peace and security need to back President Donald Trump. I listened to the speech myself, and it was unbelievable. I definitely am not happy about the fact that the U.S. Embassy was not moved to Jerusalem, and the path that the president is taking in regard to Israel and her neighbors, the Arabs who live in Judea and Samaria. That part I'm not happy about, but when it comes to Iran, President Trump is spot on. Let's see what happens now. Let's take some action, and let's throw away that bad nuclear deal. Also in the news, reported by the Jerusalem Post, Minister Naftali Bennett, Education Minister, is calling on the Prime Minister to cut ties with the Palestinian Authority. According to our good friend and host here on the Land of Israel Network, Gil Hoffman, Israel must immediately terminate its relations with the PA due to the deal it signed with Hamas in Cairo. Beit Yehudi Chairman Naftali Bennett said the other night, this reported in the Jerusalem Post, I agree with Naftali Bennett. Israel should cut off all ties to the PA. I don't think it really should have to do with the Hamas agreement. I think that it should have to do with the fact that the Palestinian Authority is a terrorist organization in their own right. But if this is the excuse needed for Israel to once and for all cut ties with the PA, they were supposed to be fighting Hamas all these years, not coming to agreements with Hamas, not coming to agreements about taking control over Gaza. They were supposed to be arresting these terrorists, which was a joke to begin with. It's preposterous to even believe for 1 second that Fatah would be fighting for Israel or fighting Hamas, unless it was in their own interests, unless they wanted to get rid of a few Hamas guys to benefit their strategic positions. But they are two sides of the same coin. So you have some Hamas guys who appear more religious in their beliefs, but Fatah and the Palestinian Authority are a bunch of terrorists with suits. Again, if this is the excuse, their deal with Hamas, the fact that they're coming together on certain issues in regard to control over Gaza, if this is the excuse, that's fine. I agree wholeheartedly with Naftali Bennett, Minister Bennett, saying Israel should cut off ties with the PA, with Fatah once and for all. And here's the perfect example why, reported by Palestinian Media Watch on the Fatah Facebook page. Again, this is Mahmoud Abbas's group, Fatah. Fatah says, dying for Allah will create the state of Palestine. From the sea of the blood of the martyrs, we will create the state of Palestine. This is a post on the official Fatah Facebook page calling for death, destruction, violence against Israel, violence against Jews, encouraging youth to adopt a path of violence to become, quote, martyrs. Reported the other day by Palestinian Media Watch. It is plain and simple. It is a translation from Arabic into English. You don't have to read any commentary. You can just see what the Arabs are saying, those in Fatah, those in the Palestinian Authority, what they are saying when it comes to Israel. They are praising terror. They're praising what they call martyrdom. They are supporting attacks against Jews, men, women, and children. And that is why, not just because of their relationship with Hamas, that is why Israel should stop talking to Fatah, stop talking to the PA once and for all. I've been saying this like a broken record since, 1993, but definitely in recent years. One last piece of news here. An Arab was arrested near the military court here today, Sunday, in Samaria, apparently carrying a pipe bomb. Border policemen and military police, according to Israel National News, arrested the suspect, thwarting a potential terror attack there in Samaria, in the Shomron. That's going to do it for today. My name is Josh Hasten. Hope you enjoyed the program. Keep sending me the emails, josh@thelandofisrael.com. I read each and every one of them. Happy to read your emails on the air if you are willing to share your thoughts with the listeners. Let me know what you think of the show. Love the show, hate the show. It's okay. Either way, I'd love to hear your emails. And make sure you check out all the wonderful programming on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. Check out my Facebook page, Joshua Hasten, on Twitter @Josh Hasten. And most importantly, as I say every week, by the way, I apologize for not being on last week, but too busy with Sukkot, too busy taking trips all over this wonderful country, so I apologize I wasn't on last week. Most importantly, between now and when we speak again next Monday, everyone out there in the world of ours, please be safe. Shalom, shalom from Gush Etzion, Israel.